Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome to another episode of TSF Reviews. Today, we are talking about Venom. Let there be carnage. Joining me today are the very well acquainted Amar Ahmed Khan and first time reviewer with us specifically, Amir.
And I'm not a first time reviewer.
First time
Many
reviewer
of
with
our
us.
you're gonna experience my rants for the first time.
Oh boy.
This is gonna be fun. So let's talk about Venom, right? So let's give some initial thoughts, all of us, just like a small amount of that. I thought it was a nice movie. I thought it was definitely worth the watch. Although I have to say that I did find myself yawning and was a bit bored during a lot of it. Enjoyed the fan service, that's for sure. Like most of this movie was fan service. And yeah, apart from that, I have some in-depth details and some notes, but this is just my general opening statement about the movie. Take it away, Amar.
Okay. I liked the movie. I mean, there's nothing spectacular about this movie, but there's a lot of things that were happening in it that I absolutely loved. Did some nice things from like the previous movie as well. Like the whole Venom taking over. I forgot her name. Not great with names sometimes, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. The whole development of Carnage and the whole backstory was also very interesting. But there are some elements that I also the definite major elements that I did not like. One being how they portrayed Venom and Eddie Brock's relationship in this movie, in particular with Venom, especially the whole kind of like acting like a divorced couple at one point. So that's something I did not like at all. And there was this one moment in the end which absolutely pissed me off because of kind of like a plot armor situation that bothered me. And because of that, the movie is overall great, but it could have done some things just a little better. Some elements like say Carnage was amazing, and we'll get to that. So yeah, great elements, but I just wish it was better. Amir?
All right, then. You ready for the rants? Okay, so the movie was a good movie. I enjoyed it actually. And I would like to point out to everyone that I have not watched any of the Marvel movies or TV shows after Endgame. Now, before everybody starts eyeballing me, here's the thing. I get to see this movie from a perspective that a lot of people don't, and that is you've all seen the previous movies. I go in fresh to this movie, and frankly, I don't even know the name of it. So this movie is a good movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the comedy flicks. I will kind of agree on Amar's point that the part where we're made to see that, little couple breakup kind of, I mean, it's not bad. It's not like that entire sequence is, uh, not funny or kind of weird in any way. It's just, it is weird because of the way it's shown. It is described as if they are a divorced couple. You get to like you have dialogues that kind of hint at that, and that was weird. But for the most part, the movie was fun. There's some fun, catchy dialogues in there. Even I found myself laughing a couple of times, which is great. There are a couple of things that I want to point out that I think make the movie a kind of difficult to follow for someone like me. Um, Everything was great. The suspense of the movie, you get to find out about the villain in this movie. What was his name again? Cassidy. The story, the way it's portrayed, all of that is great. There's just one part when Carnage comes in. I kind of miss out on all of the story of where Carnage comes out of, and most especially, why does he hate Venom? Given that I haven't seen any of the other movies, or maybe it's hinted somewhere else, I don't know if it's implied, but when Carnage is created, I see it being the point where Cassidy bites on Eddie's hand during that little tussle they have in the jail. I just don't understand, how does that little drop of blood turn into Carnage? We're not told that explicitly or even implicitly. All we see is later on Cassidy makes his escape because he apparently has a monster inside his body, and that monster really wants to kill Venom. I have no idea why. I don't know why is Venom's own little piece trying to kill himself. I just don't get that. I see Venom as some sort of a creature that, can split his body into multiple parts. He's made up of many different microscopic little, you know, parasites, I suppose, which all act as a hive mind. He actually kind of says that word, even that we are a hive mind or something like that. But I do not understand how just one part of the hive mind can break apart. Is it the host that kind of directs them? I don't know. Maybe they enter Cassidy and they take on his hatred for Eddie, and suddenly we have a separate creature called Carnage. I do not know how Carnage is born. That is confusing for me. Apart from that, Carnage is awesome. He is at one point, I think, a bit overpowered. He wrecks everyone, but you get to see a little bit of plot armor when your main characters are fighting Carnage. And instead of this creature who has literally wrecked multiple police cars in seconds, is not taking the opportunity to completely eliminate some of these very human and very vulnerable opponents. Why doesn't he just bite off the head of what was his name again? Dan. The
Cassidy.
No, Dan.
Dan. Yeah,
The
Dan. Yeah.
guy your girl is marrying. I forgot the
Yeah.
name of the girl as well. When he dumps fire on Carnage, why doesn't Carnage just bite his head off? You can literally eliminate one of their allies, and that's going to do you some good just immediately. But the scene is kind of dragged on. I don't know, maybe for dramatic purposes, but I feel like Carnage is holding himself back. You can see the plot armor right there. I don't know if that's the plot armor you were referring to, Amar, but these are just a couple of the hiccups that I noticed in the movie. Other than that, I enjoyed the movie a lot. Had some good laughs, some good punchy jokes. I have been told that the original Venom was like this as well. And if Umar found it boring, well, I guess they could have tried something different in the second movie. But if you're going to watch the second movie without watching the first one, trust me, I don't think that any of the first movie really mattered over here. I don't know what you boys have to say about that, but if you watch the second movie without watching the first one, go right ahead. You'll enjoy it at least, have some fun, have a good laugh. That's what the movie is about. That's where I end my mini rant.
I will carry on from here. Yes, I do kind of agree with Amir. This is more or less a standalone movie. There's not a lot of elements except for some characters, some introductions to certain characters. You really don't need to worry about the previous movie because all the first movie did was kind of set up like this relationship between Venom and Brock, as well as some characters that we see in this movie. Um, you can go into this without that, although this has nothing to do with the Marvel cinematic universe that followed Endgame for the most part. This was a separate series of movies that took place by Sony. It had nothing to do with any of the other movies. To comment on that, as far as your what you said about Cletus turning into Carnage and all that, I think me and Amar can agree with you on that because that didn't make sense to us even in the context of the original movie, right? Because as we understand it as well, each piece of the symbiote is its own mind, but there is nothing that says that a piece of a symbiote has to have like that you bite off another symbiote has to have its own mind either, right?
So
Mark?
here's my
Mhm.
here's my point. These are different microscopic creatures called symbiotes. Please correct me if I'm wrong, right?
It's just they're
They
symbiotes.
all come together to make up this creature that we all refer to as Venom. All right. So
No,
if
no, no, no,
Cassidy,
no. That's what I wanted to correct you on. Symbiotes are a collection of little string-looking beings, right? But each different symbiote has its own personality and name. Okay. But the thing is that the one that Cletus got in this movie was actually from Venom. So I don't think a piece of Venom should have had a different personality altogether.
exactly,
right?
that's the thing. Yeah.
Because there are different groups of symbiotes. In the first movie, we see this clearly that there are two symbiotes. One of them is Venom that Eddie gets, and one of them is what's the other one called? I don't even remember.
Riot.
Riot. The other one's called Riot that goes to someone else. Right? And they all have their own personality. They all have their own strengths. Venom being in this movie series the weakest of the symbiotes. Right? So it doesn't make sense to me either that he bit off a piece of symbiote from Venom and then became Carnage, when in the comics, if I'm not mistaken, Carnage is a separate symbiote altogether that was from the same planet. Right? So I guess you could just write it off as a way to make Cletus Cassidy Carnage for the sake of having Carnage in the second movie. Because Carnage is a really big villain for Spider-Man fans and Venom fans, but they just wanted to include him somehow, and I guess that's how they chose to do it.
I suppose the thing that you mentioned, I'm gonna just make a point here. I suppose the thing that you mentioned, that it's all these little microscopic creatures called symbiotes, and they each have their own personality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just that one symbiote is dominant and it rules all the other ones or dominates all the other ones' personality. The one that was bitten off by Cassidy is just a separate piece, and suddenly it's free now and it can manifest itself, and it does so in Cassidy. So I guess that makes sense. My point isn't my point wasn't exactly like none of this is explained. We can go into the details and discuss this all. The point is, you don't get to see any of this in the movie. You don't understand where did Carnage come from. You just see, oh, there's a little trickle of blood, and he's like, oh, which is creepy AF, let me be honest. And all of a sudden he has this creature. How does that symbiote, I don't know. I guess they could have shown some way that Venom probably had multiple personalities inside of him. He's talking to himself. There's some kind of a rift within his own ecosystem of symbiotes, and one of them is kind of opposing him. I don't know. They could have mixed it up a little. But Carnage erupting out of nowhere was kind of a blank space for me. I was like, how did any of this even happen? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to say about it after your information.
Mark, anything to add?
I have a question that before I say anything, isn't Carnage actually a creation of Venom? Like it was birthed out of Venom, and then he ended up getting his own personality. And don't symbiotes have this ability that when they're birthed out of other symbiotes, they become stronger? They're stronger.
I'm not as well versed in Spider-Man as our younger brother Yashir is, but perhaps. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Carnage is an offspring of Venom.
Yeah. So the thing is that even at one point, I think Riot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So technically,
offsprings are stronger.
Yes, offsprings are stronger than the previous symbiote where they came off from. So, and Carnage was the offspring of Venom. So I don't know why they did that particular way to make Carnage, but it does make sense. But the method was weird, but it makes sense. that somehow through the biting him off, he got a piece of the symbiote. The symbiote merged with the blood, created a new offspring, and then he decided, oh, this is. He thought this was still blood, just a little mutated. Decided to have it because he apparently likes to drink blood. So when that happened, it went into his system and grew, and eventually became Carnage.
I mean, so the thing wasn't the whole. Okay, so we didn't know about the offspring thing, but that's a good correction. But despite that, I think we can all agree that the method through which the symbiote was born,
yes,
well, it made no sense to us.
Well, they needed to find a way to create Venom and create Carnage out of Venom. That had to happen, but the method was weird. But what can you do? I don't know. I don't remember or know how exactly did Carnage actually get birthed in the comics from Venom, but probably through a different means. But this is why they did this. So yeah, that clarification is out of the way about Carnage. So
let's get the that out of the way. Let's talk about some of the interesting things about this movie. Fan service aside, there were some incredible visuals in this movie, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. I absolutely love Venom. Like Carnage's design, absolutely amazing. My only problem, if I have to pick one problem with Carnage, it's the voice.
Needs to be squeakier, right?
Needs to be squeakier. I mean, like Woody Harrelson's actual voice in like a more of a high-pitched serial killer-y kind of thing, like kind of like the Joker-like personality, but with Woody Harrelson, that would have been a more perfect voice for Carnage. But no, he got the generic, deep demonic voice.
No, like every iteration of Carnage we've seen in video games and TV shows, it's always been like the squeaky kind of madman voice.
Yeah.
But in this, yeah, I agree with you. We got like this deep voice. The visual and specifically that I wanted to talk about, though, the visual that I enjoyed the most was Carnage in front of the stained glass.
With the weapons already come in with the, oh yeah, that was amazing. That and when Venom and Carnage were about to like butt heads.
Oh yeah, all that symbiote flying around and all that stuff.
That was like crazy.
Those were two incredible visuals.
Very incredible visuals. In fact, the whole Carnage thing, I'm pretty sure I can get eventually when it comes out in like 1080p or something. I want to highlight that particular scene, make it my wallpaper. It's gonna be like such a perfect wallpaper moment to have.
It's in the trailer. You can grab it from there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was funny like how Venom was scared of Carnage.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. We all laughed at that scene. Yeah. He walked into the chapel and just decided, nope, I'm not doing this. And then following my favorite line of the movie, right? It's time to die. That's the spirit. I meant for us. It's time for us to die.
He was like that with Riot as well in the first movie. He's like, do we have any chance of winning? Technically, no. Oh well, let's go save the world. So yeah. Also, I gotta be honest. The dialogue in most cases, in both movies, are very corny. Like, I get that they want to try to make it like a comic book movie as well, but update the dialogues at least. The only thing, the personality of Venom maintained the same. How he was always after Eddie when he was talking to Cletus in the prison was also very good. The back and forth in that Eddie's mind, that like when he was talking to, I forgot the woman's name. Sorry, I think we all don't remember the woman's name. Because let's face it, she was basically like this. She was like one of those characters that actually just bridges between the story, but you don't really care what the name is. So like they're pointless, but you don't so you don't really bother remembering the name. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I can't remember her name, but when she was talking to Eddie in the restaurant, and then how Venom was always talking to him in the head, like, no, that's not right. She's supposed to be with us. Why did she? That was hilarious, and it actually added this nice touch of comedy as well as like hurt in the scene, especially when it was like, oh, I want to make you cry. She's gonna love it. Stop crying. And like how he tried to save Eddie when he was driving in the rain. Oh, that was amazing. But the dialogue again, corny, absolutely corny.
I think
So,
that was the whole movie, just random corny dialogues
but
smashed everywhere.
yeah, random corny dialogue, but amazing moments. Yeah, but now the one point that I absolutely hated, Cletus was upset that Venom, Carnage. Why am I always mixing Venom and Carnage? Carnage is trying to kill Francis, and they're like splitting apart at this point. Like, look, they're not compatible, but we are. Suddenly, he has the strength to lift the rubble off of his body and go jump towards Carnage.
The top of the cathedral.
Yeah. I mean, I get that you gotta have proper moments, but in a moment like that was just so lame. That was so lame.
I actually have something to add about that. Like, despite the whole they're symbiotic, we're a match. Yes, we can pull off the rubble. He still got his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like like all of a sudden Deus Ex Machina, we're going to win. Nope, he still got beat badly.
But also, I want to point out one more thing. If you're not compatible, wouldn't your body disintegrate or dissolve or something? Like you lose all your energy, like all the other bodies did in this movie? Because Venom has been jumping from body to body.
That's because he wasn't eating.
So wait, that doesn't make sense. So the
When
body.
you're not compatible, you have to consume food, more food to stay around. That's what it was implying.
Okay. So
that's why he was able to. That's why he was able to live in that shopkeeper, because she kept giving him chocolate.
That's fair. That is fair. But yeah, okay. That aside, then the fact remains this. Then that does make sense because Carnage did not get stopped from eating bodies at all by Cletus at all at any point.
He kept eating bodies left, right, and center.
Oh yeah, by the way, the jump scare before Venom's reveal was actually very terrifying. What all happened, and then like before the zoom in to the like smoky dark door before Venom shows up and roars. That is terrifying. Like absolutely terrifying. And then the whole story afterwards in that. I honestly expected a little bit of a hint for I forgot her name, her symbiote name. It's either Scream or Shriek.
Scream. It's Shriek, I think.
Yeah, it's either Scream or Shriek. I don't remember it properly,
Shriek.
but yeah. So I would have loved some sort of hint that that's going to happen, but no, we didn't get that. Instead, we got the epic mid-credit scene.
Oh yeah. Before we get into that mid-credit scene, just letting everybody know that Amar just put the big spoiler warning up here, right? So like
with explosion.
Spoilers for the mid-credit scene. If you have not seen the movie, you can skip the rest of this video and walk away.
Or skip to the time frame that I'll add right about here. Right about now.
Are they gone?
They're gone.
Holy crap, what was that mid-credit scene?
Yeah, what was that mid-credit scene? I mean, god damn it. First of all, you got that weird Doctor Strange light thing happening in the background.
Okay, then now we're done. That never happened. He just teleported.
There was a light in the background, dude. There was like this little yellow light that happened before
there was
happened.
A yellow circle outside his window.
That's why I'm saying that Strange had something to do with it.
Oh, is it? Let me just catch that again on YouTube later. But
there is a yellow a weird
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
light,
First,
or which
there
looked
was
like a
this
circle.
exactly. There was this little vibrations happening that I think that we saw because he was trying to give Eddie some of the memories or something that he said that he had. But before he could do anything, though, everything started to shake. We all assumed that it was because of the memory thing, but no, there was this yellow light formed in the background that turned from night to day in the events of the thing, because it was nighttime when he was talking to Venom, and then suddenly it became
Yeah.
daytime with that yellow light forming in. Then suddenly we see the news of Peter Parker being Spider-Man on the news, and that was actually this moment that was like, holy shit, he might be in No Way Home. And that will make it even more brilliant. And we don't even know, is he going to be the bad guy? Is he going to help out Peter? We don't know what's going to happen.
He's gonna be the chaotic good.
All we need to know is that he's going to be in the he might be in No Way Home. Let's find out when the trailer drops in 7 days. Be ready to watch that reaction.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And be ready for probably another point where Amir comes to watch a movie where he has no backstory to go on.
Loyal viewers, I promise I'll take care of this guy.
Yeah, we will personally make sure that he watches every movie before he watches that movie. So yeah, I guess that's more or less our thoughts. Unless anyone anything else want to add?
Let's talk about scores. Amar, what's your score?
My score is like 7.5. Mostly because I hate Deus Ex Machinas, especially ones that ridiculous. And the relationship was funny, but it was like dragged. That style of the relationship was dragged too much. It annoyed me. And as much as I loved Cletus and Carnage, that's about it. Actually, Cletus and Carnage were like the only good things I liked about this movie, especially the fight scenes. The visuals were amazing. Everything else was just boring, honestly. But it was still an entertaining movie to watch in terms of everything that happens in the end and the build-up for Carnage. Everything is great. Story-wise, boring. Everything else makes up for it. So 7.5 from my end. Amir, you're up.
Okay. I was gonna give it an 8 because I still think it's a good movie worth watching. Like, given that you haven't watched the previous Venom, if you go and watch this one, still entertaining. Since you're not getting bored, this is the first Venom you would technically be watching. It has nothing to do with the first movie. You don't really need the backstory. So yeah, it's an entertaining movie nonetheless. I would recommend it. There are some parts where you would be bored, I guess, or confused, but then again, it is a superhero action movie. That's the way I see it. If I am entertained for that 1.5 hours and not made to fall asleep, then yeah, amazing visuals, some choice and interesting dialogues, funny dialogues. I like it. So I'll give it an 8.
All right. After letting everybody know my thoughts, we'll sign off. I gave it a 7. And despite the reason I gave it a 7 is that despite its stunning visuals in certain places, the fan service being like amazing and being genuinely funny in a lot of places, I just don't feel that this movie held up that well. I feel like that it wasn't written the best way, and it was a little too. I think it could have been a bit better in the sense that it was too short, and it felt short, right? Because it's just like, oh, it's Carnage time, let's go. We have to find, and it was short, but it was also dragged, in my opinion, right? It's like Carnage time. But no, first we will take this side quest and then this side quest, and then we'll worry about the fight at the end because we have a lot of time to kill, right? So it kind of felt like that because Carnage came too early in the movie, and then when Carnage did come too early in the movie, he spent all of the movie not being Carnage.
Actually, that's a very good point. When Carnage shows up, we don't see a lot of Carnage till the end. That's annoying. Why are you not using him?
Like, so Carnage exists like just to, and then when Carnage does exist, it's like, let's go do this side plot first. and then we'll just focus on like this little subplot of them having being a divorced couple, and Carnage is being Carnage on the side, and we only see snippets of it. Like, and then, oh, you know what? We've padded our one time enough. Time for a fight, like 35-minute fight, right? And that's not how you carry a movie, in my opinion. Give us some characterization. Give us some development for Carnage. Like, why is he upset with Venom? Why is Cletus so adamant about being reunited? Why couldn't he go kill Brock first, right? So, like, give us this insight, right? None of this insight existed at all. And I just feel like if this was done a little better, would have been a lot better movie. The elements that were there that were good. So 7 out of 10 for me. And on that note, I think we'll conclude our discussion on Venom. If you guys enjoyed that, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next time, see ya.
Until next time. And just before we leave, just want to let you know that the average is coming up to 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, great. 7.5 out of 10. Sounds good.
Yep.
So that's good enough.
Good enough. So thank you all for watching. See you guys next time.